Now, if you don't know, video game journalists have been calling Resident Evil 5 racist for years, ever since it came out, I think even before it came out, because it's a game set in Africa. And even though one of the two playable characters who you have to play with in a group is black, one of them is white. And so because a white man is going to Africa and shooting zombies who happen to be black because they're in Africa, that's racist. That's it. That's as far as their thinking really goes. Well, that, and of course, because not only are you going to a place, Africa, where there's going to be African people, and therefore there will be African zombies rather than in some place like California, they also might show tribal people, because there are tribal people in parts of the world. But that is also offensive, even if they're not doing any sort of caricature. Just the fact that they exist is offensive. Just seeing them is offensive, because a lot of these journalists, whether they're considered white or whatever else, they hate white people and they look down on non-white people. As you go from white, then you go to Asian, and that's sort of the place where they hate you, but they also think highly of these people. And then there's native groups where they think about you once in a while to call people racist, but you're not a big enough demographic to really affect them as far as sales go or pandering, so they don't really talk about you much. And then there's Hispanic, and then whatever's considered black. And that's where they look down on you. They hate the other side, and then it slides, and then they start to look down on you. You can show white Nordic people, Vikings, and instead of showing their armor, which was actually pretty advanced, they're wearing furs and everything, right? Running around naked in the freezing cold, swinging swords and axes, but also wearing pretty much nothing except maybe a pelt over their back or wrapped around their shoulder. It doesn't even make sense, right? You could make people look more, let's say, primal if they're white or Asian, a group that they think highly of, and it's cool, it's badass. The worst thing they could say is that it's toxic masculinity or something like that, but they're not going to call it racist because they think highly of these people. There's nothing you can do that would somehow take away their dignity. If you see a naked white man in the snow, okay, a huge dude in the snow with just a pelt on his back, holding a spear or an axe, then he's just badass and there's nothing offensive about it. Okay? He can have wolf fangs or bear fangs on his neck as a necklace and it's cool, it's badass, whatever. Tattoos, whatever, it's all cool. But if you show someone they consider black holding like a spear in any context, doesn't matter how clean they are, it doesn't matter if it makes sense and it's perfectly reasonable because everybody uses spears, everybody has used spears, that's a normal weapon. That's considered racist, that's offensive. And if you were to go to some country, where people would be, mostly black, and you fight those characters, even if they're zombies, even if they turn into weird zombies and bug monsters come out, it's offensive because now you're killing those people. Wow. Whereas, of course, you could play some sort of white European game or, Dynasty Warriors, where you're mowing down white or Asian people, and it's not racist or offensive, it's just a game, it's just mindless fun, okay. Because they don't really look down on these people. And that's how it is. That's the mind of these progressive people, especially these sort of journalists, right? So to make the perfect new version of Resident Evil 5, that's what they want, by the way. They don't want you to remake it unless you're going to, entirely change it, right? So here we go. Here's the pitch for these progressive people, video game journalists, the most progressive people in the world. Let me pitch it to you. So this is set in the future, okay? Resident Evil 5, it's in the future in Africa. 21XX. Who knows what exact year, but it's in the future. And the way this is going to be so progressive is, not only are there going to be no tribesmen or anything like that, there's not even going to be anyone you'd consider black or African in Africa, okay? Do you know how? Because in the future, just this hypothetical made-up scenario, just as a joke, just to appeal to, these journalists, these progressive people, right? African people suddenly started to have less population, and people from, let's just say China, started coming in with their massive population and taking parts of the land that, happened to become less occupied or not occupied, as they were coming in, and maybe they bought some land and they opened businesses, and eventually there just weren't many black people there, and it was mostly just another, part of China, another country, not colony, but another country, another part of it. And so 90-something% of the population is now Chinese. So that way nothing's racist. Okay, so, and the main characters won't be white and black anymore. The man will be less than 1% white, whatever you'd consider white, European. And the woman will be less than 1% black, whatever you'd consider black, African. And so it'll be two Chinese people, 99% Chinese, going into a country that's about 99% Chinese and just shooting zombies who happen to be Chinese, and nothing will be racist then, because Africa won't have African people. And there won't be a white man and there won't be a black woman, and everything will be diverse and progressive, and that will be your beautiful progressive future. Okay? Perfect. There you go. And I don't know, who made the virus? Some American company. Actually, you can leave that the same. You can leave that the same. The Americans did it. Their evil capitalist country set a virus in the beautiful country. One of the countries in Africa that will exist in the future, which happened to be Chinese just by chance, just randomly picking things here, just, because it's kind of over there, near there, so... Anyway, there you go. That's the perfect remake of this game for these progressive people, these journalists. Enjoy it! The malaria is making it really hard to see where I'm going. This malaria is not... You should have probably given him some medication for this. Oh, they did. Okay. Or he had it? Oh. Why didn't you tell them that you were out of malaria medication? Just keep driving here. I've gone the wrong way. Gone the wrong way. Don't kill me with malaria. I'm going back. Please. Please.